Hello everyone, this is Count Zero. This is my first live video. So, give me a little bit of slack while I get the hang of my web camera, getting the lighting right and that sort of thing. As you can probably tell, this isn't the best room for doing video, but there are only good rooms in this house, good rooms I have for doing video. I probably would work better in a room that's painted white and that sort of thing, magnify the light better, but anyway. So, I'm doing a series of little, basically videos, covering each of the E3 press conferences. You've probably seen all these live already, but I want to give my thoughts and analysis on this. Let me starting off with the Microsoft one. I'm not going to be doing the Konami pre-E3 press briefing. I'm not too enthused with their, well, we're just going to do something way before the event. We're not going to do it live with the press. We're not going to do anything like that. Whatever. I'm just going to focus with the stuff we had done before a live audience. That really give me more to talk about. We get audience reactions and that sort of thing. So with that said, let's get started. We start off with a look at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I skipped most of the trailers before this, so this is my first look at the game. It looks like Call of Duty, and specifically the Modern Warfare games. A big opening little set piece, sneaking in through a under what I presume is the Hudson River. It's the Holland Tunnel. I don't know New York geography. If anyone watching this lives in New York, post something in the comments. Give me a little bit of geography idea, if you can get anything from that. So, they come in, there's this Soviet submarine coming overhead, SEAL team. They plant a mine on it, blow a hole in the ship, board the ship, take out the crew and launch the missiles, and then leave. We get a escape sequence on their Zodiac rafts, basically darting through everything going to hell, and then getting on helicopters and leaving. It's your Call of Duty action sequence. It's a lot like the demo we got of Modern Warfare 2 way back when at E3. It's alright. It works. Whatever. I mean, I don't know. We get a little bit of narrative here, where our SEAL team has very different identities to it, with one of our team members is codenamed Sandman. I don't know if this could be a recurring character, or if this is going to be like your other various members of your squad, where their names kind of change depending on whether they survive cutscenes or not, or survive gameplay or not. We don't get any information before the missiles are being launched. From what I got from the Kotaku article, I did read that. It looks like, we have a level later in the game in Dubai. Depending where this is in the game's timeline, this could be at Dubai, this could be going to one of the other battle zones, could be going to Russia, maybe Soap and Price are going to have to evade this missile before it nukes Moscow. I don't know. Anyway, our next little video gameplay snippet is from the upcoming Tomb Raider reboot. It starts out with Lara Croft underground, bound and gagged and hanging from this, not gagged, but bound and hanging from the ceiling by her ankles. She gets free, escapes from the tunnels, makes way outside. It feels like something out of the movie Descent. Not as overtly gory and violent as Descent, but it's the same sense of woman underground, vulnerable and scared. She doesn't have her guns. She doesn't really particularly do any combat here. She does do traversal, but she does talk a lot. She just talk to herself to figure out what she needs to do next. But other than that, the main thing she does is gasping in pain, gasping out of fear, gasping. And I don't like gasping out of exertion either. It feels kind of torture porny. I hope this isn't the case. I hope this game turns out well. I like the Tomb Raider series. It's nice to have something other than Uncharted be the big pulpy exploration game series. Pulpy exploration with traversal game series, be specific. And if this does well, excellent. I really hope this does well. Next up is Peter Moore coming on stage, talking about some of EA's upcoming lineup for the Xbox 360, particularly focused on Mass Effect 3. also talk about Tiger Woods and Madden and FIFA, The Sims, and that sort of thing, and all that's okay. Do I note that Peter Moore does flub the EA Sports tagline of it's in the game. That's kind of odd because EA Sports is Peter Moore's thing, and really, really his thing. And to see him mess up like this, I chuckled. But anyway, we get a look at some gameplay footage of Mass Effect 3. I'm a little disappointed. Now, I do like what we get with Kinect and using voice activation on Kinect to handle the dialogue tree. I mean, you can still use the stick, I presume, and that obviously you'll still be able to use the stick to navigate that, but getting the voice control really helps the immersion and gets the idea of playing a character, of role playing. And then everything else contradicts that entirely. We get a little bit of a shooting sequence, and yeah, it feels, shooting-wise, it looks more Gears of War than earlier Mass Effect. Earlier Mass Effects, even, I haven't played Mass Effect 2, but Mass Effect 1, one of the things I kind of liked about other people didn't necessarily like is the idea that with Mass Effect, there are die rolls going on behind the background. It's like a tabletop role-playing game. That if you were doing this tabletop role-playing game, when you're firing bullets, there'd theoretically be a player rolling a skill check. We don't get that. And the shit from that is something which kind of bugged me about the Mass Effect series. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of tabletop role-playing games where they're diceless. I don't play those games. Those games don't appeal to me. I like dice rolls. So, not getting that in Mass Effect 3 and scaling back from that kind of bugs me a little bit. Not so much into that. Next is Ghost Recon Future Soldier. And so for Kinect, you get on-rail shooting sequences. And you can use Kinect to customize your gun, or get a random gun design. And I don't care. It's like, okay. I'm not going to be doing that much in the in-depth customization. I'll just tell it to optimize for my loadout, or if I'm unlocking different gun parts through the game, I'll stick the gun parts on there for the loadout that I play, and I'm never going to change it again. Because that's the way I always play games where I let you customize your weapon. Once I find something I like, I stick with it. And probably a lot of other people are going to do that too. So, there's that. Also, I do want, yeah. So, other than that, we do have, other thing is we get a trailer where the team hits a bunch of targets at once, and we go through super slow motion through this environment as classical music plays. And by super slow motion, I mean everything stopped. It's like still bullet time. And we see all the dudes who are dead, or gotten shot and knocked out of windows, or blown up, or that sort of thing. It reminded me a lot of a trailer for one of the Hitman games. One of the Killing is Beautiful type of game trailers for Hitman games that got it in trouble. So, So, then after that, we get a look at the new Xbox 360 experience, which basically gets us cloud support, gets us voice support, we get Bing, we get TV on demand, which I presume only works if you have cable, maybe, which doesn't do me any good. I don't have cable television, so I don't care. We get YouTube support, which is nice. Hopefully it's well integrated YouTube support, in the sense that when I go to YouTube, I want to be able to, when I go to the YouTube app on my Xbox, I want to be able to see what the people I'm subscribed to are doing. I want to be able to search for a specific search term and get that, and browse through things. This is something which YouTube integration on DVD players and other things have done very poorly at. Then, after that, oh, other thing we're getting is we're getting Bing. We are getting Bing on our Xbox 360. Now, supposedly, what this does, sorry about that, for some reason my screensaver came up. Anyway, so we are going, so supposedly what you can do is you can search for, say, Batman. You search for Batman, you get a whole bunch of Batmans. You find everything that's available through the video services, through Netflix, through Hulu, and that sort of thing that's related to Batman. Okay. And it is voice activation. Okay. Fine. We get Dana White. Dana, douchebag. I buy out my biggest competition so that I buy out everyone who's a potential competitor with me because I want to spread monopoly practices, and I take my employees' likeness rights, so it makes it difficult for them to leave White. Yes, I don't like Dana White. While I'm kind of interested in mixed martial arts, I'm not a big fan of UFC. Funny how that works. Well, funny how that works, but yeah. I kind of like it when companies exploit their employees. Not just exploit, but like unnecessarily potentially screw their employees. Anyway. So we're getting UFC programming on the Xbox 360. Okay, yay, I guess. Maybe if I was really more into UFC more, I'd be into this, but I always liked the competition more. I liked Strikeforce because they had because they were really interested in something new with women's matches, as far as like with women who were serious competitors. And UFC never quite got me with that. I was into EA Sports MMA because we got a broader variety of people. Companies do better in this competition, and there's more possibilities for stuff, for different for other group, for advancement and that sort of thing. In the sense of, in pro wrestling, WWE, or rather WWF, was at its peak when WCW was doing well, or even for that matter, when WCW was utterly choking, and WWF took advantage of that and promoted either the talents that were promoted the smaller, not smaller, but the lower card talent after their bigger guys like Hogan, Savage, and that sort of thing were stolen, and that sort of, and so on. Boxing has run into problems because they have no real competition in the United States, but I'm digressing. Next is Gears of War 3, featuring a trailer that has War Pigs by Black Sabbath with a hip-hop beat, because it needed that. What, the original drummer for Black Sabbath drummer isn't good enough for you? Anyway, Cliffy B comes out to show off the game, and to show off the co-op, we also get Ice-T. That was cool. I don't really follow Ice-T on Twitter, but I like that he's a gamer, and go for him for bringing a gamer with some mainstream acceptance and popularity. Game looks good. Much more I can say about that. Let's get a look at Rise, whatever. It's got a gratuitous Y in it. Makes it sound Welsh. It's from Crytek, which is probably why we have the gratuitous Y. And the idea behind it is it's ancient Rome, and it's a Kinect-based slash-em-up game. Okay. The footage we get looks a lot like its proof of concept footage, and so until we get like an on-stage demo, I'm not going to think too much of this. It's still in the stage where it could totally become vaporware in a heartbeat. It could disappear like Metal Gear Solid Rising. let's see, we are getting a Halo Anniversary Edition in the sense that we're getting a remake of the original Halo game. That's cool. I like the idea of the higher res graphics. I like the of including some graphical customization and new stages from earlier games, earlier games, but refinements from later games which have come out before now, if that makes any sense at all. We also get Halo 4, and looks of things, it's picking up more or less not long after the end of Halo 3. You're going to get technical about the lore. There's an animated segment from Halo Legends that falls in between, sort of, in the sense of it's the framing device for it is in between. We get Forza 4. We had a gameplay video of that. Looks good. I was disappointed that we didn't get any of the Stig here. By means of explanation, in pre-E3, pre-Microsoft press conference ads, we'd gotten stuff hyping that the Stig would be at the press conference. We had a commercial set in the green room with a woman talking to the Stig, asking him if he'd like to take a seat. He sits down in a chair and puts on a 4-point harness, because he is the Stig. And that's how he does things. I mean, some say that that he won't sit in any chair that doesn't have a 4-point harness, and that he can tell the speed of a car from the way it vibrates the asphalt. All we know is he's called the Stig. So there's that. Oh, the point with this trailer is this is another trailer where we get Black Sabbath music with hip-hop overtones to, or hip-hop adjustment to. In this case, it's 21st Century Schizoid Man. With, I want to say, I've heard Kanye has somebody rapping in conjunction with it. We just wonder, what was there like did they get like a big deal on rights to sample Black Sabbath music? This is early Sabbath, by the way. This is Sabbath with Ozzy, not Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio. So maybe that was like less expensive. They got a special deal, package deal. I don't know. Peter Molyneux is here. He shows up next. He has a new Connect. He has his new Fable Connect game, Fable the Journey, which is a on-rail shooter with magic. Not interested. I mean, there's maybe some stuff with Connect that catches my interest, but I played Fable 2. I don't know if you can see on my shelf, but it's like over here. It's alright. I'm not the biggest Fable, but it's not really catching my interest, and there's stuff with Fable 3 which particularly kind of turned me off to it. On a more interesting note, Minecraft is coming to Xbox 360. It has Kinect support, and I'm presuming there's a certain degree of cross-platform play here. Maybe. I doubt it, just because the possible infrastructure stuff of going from Xbox Live to going to the PC servers and that sort of thing. I'm interested to see if you can pull off some of the same stuff that you do on Minecraft on the computer. You can do that on Minecraft on the 360. But I've heard that some of the stuff in Minecraft on the computer had been pulled off with like semi-advanced stuff like CAD. And I don't know if you can be able to do that as far as if it is done that way, if they can handle sort of file importation and that sort of thing on the 360. We'll have to see. So here we get various kiddie Kinect games. Kinect Star Wars, a Kinect, the Double Fine Kinect Sesame Street game, all that sort of stuff. If you have kids, then these are probably really awesome for you. I don't have kids. I don't have Kinect. I don't care. Sorry. And finally, Kuda Sonoda comes out, talks more about Kinect during the press conference, and shows off Kinect Fun Labs, which looks like their little game design, content creation thing. We're getting a sequel to Dance Central 2, which already. It took like 2 years to get from Rock Band to Rock Band 2, and then it took like 3 more years after that. Possibly 4. On the bright side, everything from Dance Central 1 can be imported to Dance Central 2. So, Harmonix is continuing their excellent, in my opinion, business practice of using the old catalog to make the newer games even more appealing. This is something which more people need to do. I want to be able to import my downloaded maps from Halo 3 to Halo Reach. I want to be able to import my maps from Gears of War 1 and 2 to Gears of War 3. That's good stuff. That means I don't have to recreate stuff, and that means that I don't have that. If it can be done, if the tools work that you can do this, it means that you don't have to create as many assets. It means I don't have to spend as much money, and it means that when I play the game, when I play Gears of War 3, because I'm a big Gears of War fan, if hypothetically I'm a big Gears of War fan, when I play Gears of War 3 and play it on multiplayer, there's a giant number of maps I can play with, and all the other big diehard Gears of War fans will have a giant number of maps to play with, and have big playlists, and you get the kind of rotating maps, fun community kind of thing that made, for example, a certain other epic game from not that long ago made it work so well. I referring to the Unreal Tournament series. And and this is actually at the end. I got ahead of myself. This at the end is where we get the Halo 4 trailer. Again, it looks good. I'm going to have to wait for gameplay, but I like the Halo narrative. I'm not going to say I'm one of the few people who thinks Halo is a really good story, but it's a well-structured story. I'd say it's melodramatic, but it's a better structured melodramatic story than any of the Call of Duty narratives. So, I'm interested to see where they're going with this from a story standpoint. Alright, and that wraps up the Microsoft press conference. I'll be putting up a few more videos later discussing the press conferences for Sony, Nintendo, EA, and Ubisoft. Look forward to speaking with you then.